Okay, so let's imagine you've got this tech interview coming up, at like your dream company.
Yeah.
The pressure is on, right? You got to like nail those coding challenges and all those algorithm questions.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what's so interesting is that these tech companies, they're not just looking for coding skills.
Really?
It goes deeper than that. They
Yeah.
want to see if you can actually like thrive in their environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a very specific kind of place.
Yeah, I can imagine. So to help us kind of navigate all of this for this deep dive, we are turning to Gayle McDowell, the Google resume.
Oh, cool.
We're looking at the audio version for this one.
Okay.
And for anyone who doesn't know Gayle, she's a former software engineer at Google, Microsoft, Apple.
Wow.
And she's done hundreds of interviews herself.
She's like the queen of tech interviews then.
Pretty much.
All right. So what are we going to get out of this deep dive? I mean, it's not just about like memorizing answers, right?
No, definitely not. This is about understanding like the underlying principles and the strategies. So you can go into any tech interview with confidence. Yeah.
Even if you've already got a ton of experience.
Okay, cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
Now, Gayle, she drops this like kind of crazy stat early on in the book.
Oh, really? What is it?
Only about 5% of applicants get hired at the top tech companies.
Oh, wow. So like the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons of the world.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's super competitive then.
It is.
Yeah.
So that's why Gayle's advice is just so valuable. She starts with like preparation,
Okay.
but not just, the usual like research the company stuff.
What does she say then? What do you mean?
Well, she takes it a step further.
How so?
She actually recommends researching the interviewer themselves on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Like stalk them a little bit?
Well, not stalk,
Hmm?
but like really look for some common ground. Maybe you went to the same school. Maybe you both volunteered at animal shelters.
Oh, I get it.
So then you can kind of casually drop it in the conversation. Like, hey, I saw on LinkedIn you also love rescuing kittens.
That's great.
You instantly become way more memorable.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. It shows that you're not just going through the motions. You're genuinely interested in them as a person.
Yeah, you're a human, not a robot.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's not just about like the academic prep,
Right.
Gayle even talks about what to order during a lunch interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, what's the best power lunch for a tech interview?
Well, she says to avoid messy foods like ribs or spaghetti.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine getting sauce all over your like nice white shirt.
Right before meeting the CEO.
Yeah, exactly. Not the first impression you want to make.
I could see that.
So it's about being aware of the tech culture and knowing how to fit in,
Okay.
even when it comes to lunch.
I like it. Social awareness is key.
Totally. Okay, so let's say you've done your research, you've picked the perfect lunch spot.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're actually in the interview.
All right, game time.
One thing that really surprised me is that Gayle says a lot of those interview questions, they're not about finding the right answer.
Really? I thought that's what interviews were all about.
Well, they're more interested in your problem-solving process.
Oh, interesting. So how you think, how you break down a challenge, how you communicate your logic.
That's what they're observing.
That's what they want to see.
Interesting. So even if you don't, like, hit the perfect solution.
As long as you can explain your thought process clearly, you're good.
You're golden.
You're golden, exactly.
Gotcha. So it's more about the journey than the destination, in a way.
Yeah, and she actually recommends that you treat the interviewer like your coding partner.
Like you're working on a problem together.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then when it comes to those behavioral questions, like, tell me about a time you failed.
Oh, yeah. Everybody dreads that one.
Gayle recommends the STAR method.
The STAR method.
Have you heard of this?
I have not. Fill me in.
Okay, so STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, and Result.
Okay.
It's a way to structure your answers so you don't ramble.
So you're not all over the place.
Right. You set the scene, you describe the task, explain what you did, and then highlight the outcome.
Got it. So you're basically giving your answer like a clear beginning, middle, and end. Mm-hmm. Keeps everyone on track.
I like it.
Yeah. But there's this one quote from the book that really hit me. The thesis of your interview is, why should we hire you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. It's powerful.
It is, right?
Yeah, it helps you like stay focused.
Mm. Yep.
Every question, every example you share should be building that case.
Yes.
Why you're the best fit for the job.
Okay, so let's get specific.
All right, let's do it.
What about that classic question? Why do you want to work here?
I feel like everyone asks that.
They do.
Every single interview.
And Gayle says, like, generic answers just won't cut it.
So you got to be specific.
You have to tailor your response. Show that you've done more than just, like, skimming their website.
Okay.
Research the specific team that you're interviewing with and connect your skills and your interests to their actual work.
Okay, so for example, instead of just saying, I'm passionate about cloud computing,
Yeah.
I could say something like, I'm really excited about your team's work on serverless architecture
Mm-hmm.
because I've been experimenting with AWS Lambda for my personal projects.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. It shows that you've gone the extra mile. You're not just sending out generic applications.
You're actually interested in them.
Yes. Okay. So let's say you're cruising through the interview,
You're feeling good?
but then they hit you with the dreaded, "What are your weaknesses?" question.
Ooh, yeah. That one's tough. It's a
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
How do you answer that without, like, totally sabotaging yourself?
That's the thing. Gail says honesty is key,
Okay.
but you don't want to completely destroy your chances.
Right. You're not going to say, well, I hate working with other people.
Right. So you choose a weakness that isn't a deal breaker for the role
Okay.
and explain how you're actively working on it.
Okay. So, for example, if I'm applying for a front-end developer role,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say, like, I hate JavaScript.
Right.
Maybe something like, I tend to get bogged down in details,
Yeah.
but I'm learning to prioritize tasks and manage my time more effectively.
Yeah. Perfect. It shows self-awareness and a desire to improve, which are both super valuable traits in any employee.
Okay, makes sense.
Now, Gail also talks about brain teaser questions.
Brain teasers. Those are still a thing.
I know, right? I thought they were like a myth.
Yeah.
But apparently they are still out there.
Okay, and what does Gail say about those?
Well, they're a little less common now,
Mm-hmm.
but her approach to solving them is brilliant.
What is it?
Again, it's not about getting the right answer.
Okay.
It's about showing your logic and your reasoning.
So if they ask me how many golf balls fit in a school bus,
Yeah.
I shouldn't just panic and start like frantically doing calculations in my head.
No, you want to walk them through your thought process.
Okay.
Make reasonable assumptions, break the problem down into smaller steps,
Got it.
and explain your reasoning as you go.
Okay, so like a verbal coding challenge almost.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
Okay.
All right, so we've covered research behavioral questions, even brain teasers.
That's a lot.
It is. But now I'm curious about the technical side of things. What about that infamous whiteboard coding challenge?
Oh yeah, that's what everyone's scared of.
I know. Imagine no compiler, no code completion,
Just your whiteboard and a marker.
and a whole lot of pressure.
Yeah, that sounds pretty nerve-wracking.
It does.
Yeah, it's like performing surgery with your bare hands.
Right. Exactly.
Hmm.
So how do you even prepare for that?
Well, Gail, she really emphasizes practice. A lot of practice.
Okay.
And not just coding on your computer.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You have to get comfortable actually writing code by hand.
Oh, wow.
Like on paper or a whiteboard.
So no safety net.
No safety net, no autocomplete.
You're really training your brain to think differently.
You are. It's like anticipating those errors without that compiler to catch them for you.
Right. Right.
She even recommends practicing thinking out loud as you code.
Really?
Like imagine explaining your code to a rubber duck.
Oh, wow.
It might sound silly, but it really helps you articulate your thought process.
Yeah, I can see that. Because if you can explain it clearly, it shows that you really understand it.
Exactly.
Even if you make a mistake or two along the way.
And let's be real, everyone gets nervous during interviews.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
What if you totally blank out in front of the whiteboard?
Oh, that's my biggest fear.
Gail actually tells this funny story about a mythical, perfect candidate
Oh, really?
who aced every single question flawlessly.
Okay.
But even he made mistakes later on.
So even the coding superstars, they get nervous too.
They do.
Yeah.
The point is, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not about being perfect. It's about how you handle those mistakes, how you recover, how you learn from them.
That's reassuring.
Right?
So it's more about resilience and problem solving than just being a coding genius.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Gail doesn't just talk about whiteboard coding. She also goes into object-oriented design and scalability.
Those sound intense.
They do, right? Especially for more senior roles.
Yeah.
Because these questions, they test your ability to design systems.
Okay.
Not just write lines of code.
Got it.
So they want to see if you can think big picture and anticipate those potential problems
Before they even come up.
before they even come up.
So instead of just building a tiny Lego castle, they're asking you to design the entire Lego universe.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good analogy.
Right.
How do you wrap your head around that?
Well, Gail, she breaks it down so beautifully.
Okay, tell me.
She says, focus on the user. Understand their needs and design for them. Don't get lost in fancy features or over-engineer a solution.
Got it.
Keep it elegant. Keep it scalable.
I like it.
And one of my favorite examples that she gives is Design an alarm clock for the deaf.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
It's such a simple prompt,
Yeah.
but it forces you to think outside the box and consider different user perspectives.
It's true. It's all about solving problems creatively and with empathy for the
Exactly.
user.
Okay, so let's say you've nailed those coding challenges, you've impressed them with your design skills,
They got the job off.
you got the job offer, but the salary's not quite what you're hoping for.
That's when it's time to negotiate.
Ooh, the dreaded salary negotiation.
But Gayle, she really stresses that negotiation is expected.
Really?
You shouldn't be afraid to advocate for yourself.
I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up, you know?
I know it can be awkward.
It is.
Like, you don't want to seem greedy or demanding.
Right. And what if you ask for too much and they take back the offer?
That's always the fear.
Yeah.
Well, Gayle, actually, she shares this story about negotiating with Google back in 2004.
Oh, wow.
And she got them to double her stock options.
Double.
And guess what? It paid off big time after the IPO.
Wow. She knew her worth.
She did.
Okay, so how do you approach this whole negotiation thing without sounding like a jerk?
Well, Gayle's got some great tips.
Okay, good.
First, don't name your salary first.
Oh, that makes sense.
Let them make the initial offer.
Okay, so you don't accidentally lowball yourself?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then do your research. Know the market rate for your role and your experience.
Okay. So like websites like Glassdoor and Levels.fi.
Exactly. They're your best friend.
Okay.
So you have data on your side.
Right.
You can confidently say, hey, based on my skills and the industry average, this is what I'm worth. And if you have another offer on the table that gives you even more leverage.
Oh, for sure.
But even if you don't remember, to highlight your unique value
Mm-hmm.
and remind them why you're the best candidate.
Okay. So we've tackled the pre-interview prep, the coding challenges, the design questions, even salary negotiation.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is. But I'm curious what happens after you actually land the job.
Oh, that's a great question.
Does Gayle offer any advice for navigating that transition?
She does. And it's actually some of the most valuable advice in the book.
Oh, really?
She says, even after you've got the job, think of the interview process as ongoing.
What do you mean? Like you never stop interviewing?
In a way, yes.
Mm.
It's about constantly evaluating your career path, identifying your goals, and looking for opportunities to develop new skills.
So it's like you're always preparing for that next step,
Exactly.
whether it's a promotion or maybe a new role altogether.
Right. And Gayle, she tells this cautionary tale about getting sucked into a comfortable job
Oh, no.
and letting the years slip by without making any real progress.
Yeah.
Having a plan helps you avoid that trap.
I can see that. So it's about being proactive and shaping your own career instead of just waiting for things to happen.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like being the CEO of your own career.
I like that. Okay, but it's not just about having a plan, right? It's about making your accomplishments known.
Yeah, the dreaded self-promotion.
What can be so uncomfortable?
Especially for us tech folks, you know?
Yeah, we just want to let our code speak for itself.
Right.
But how do you promote yourself without sounding like a total braggart?
Well, Gayle, she suggests regular updates to your manager.
Okay.
Document your accomplishments as you go and provide specific examples of how your work is making a difference.
So it's like keeping a running log of all your wins.
Exactly. When performance review time comes around, you've got all the evidence you need.
Right, you're prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about impressing your manager.
Yeah.
It's about being recognized for your contributions
Yeah.
and setting yourself up for future opportunities.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about continuous learning, networking, navigating company culture, managing your career,
Even self-promotion.
even self-promotion. We've covered a lot.
That's a lot.
But what about those moments when you feel completely stumped?
When you get a wall,
Like you're facing a problem you've never seen before.
it happens to all of us.
Yeah. How do you handle those unexpected challenges that just inevitably pop up in the tech world?
That's a great question. And it's something that Gayle addresses head on in the book.
Okay, good.
She acknowledges that even the most experienced tech professionals face those moments of doubt,
Yeah,
those challenges that just seem impossible to overcome.
right.
But she also provides some really helpful strategies for navigating those tricky situations. So she starts by saying, it's okay to not know everything.
Okay,
The tech world is constantly changing. Nobody expects you to have all the answers.
that's reassuring because sometimes it feels like everyone else just knows everything.
I know, right?
And you're the only one who's lost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Gayle, she emphasizes the importance of staying calm.
Okay.
When you're faced with a problem you've never seen before, just take a deep breath. Gather your thoughts and approach the problem systematically.
Okay. So it's like channeling your inner Spock
Exactly.
logic over emotion.
Exactly. And then she suggests a few strategies for tackling those tricky situations.
Okay. Like what?
Well, first she says clarify the problem.
Okay.
Make sure you really understand what they're asking, what the desired outcome is, what constraints you need to consider. Sometimes just reframing the problem can help you see it from a different angle.
So like taking a step back before you jump into a solution.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then she suggests breaking the problem down into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of trying to solve the whole thing at once,
Okay.
identify the key components and address them one at a time.
It's like, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Exactly. One bite at a time.
Right. By breaking it down, it just feels less overwhelming.
Right. Less daunting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you're working through each piece of the puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
Gayle emphasizes communication.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding the solution. It's about explaining how you got there.
So thinking out loud can be really helpful.
It's so helpful.
For you and for whoever you're collaborating with.
Yeah, it helps you clarify your thinking, identify roadblocks, and explain your reasoning.
And it shows that you're not just like randomly guessing or trying things, you're thinking it through strategically.
Exactly. And if you get stuck, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Okay.
Reach out to colleagues, mentors, online communities. Sometimes just talking through a problem with someone else can spark a new idea.
It's like a fresh perspective.
Exactly. And even if you don't find the perfect solution right away, the process of struggling and brainstorming and collaborating can be so valuable.
That's how we learn.
That's how we grow.
It's the journey, not just the destination.
Exactly. And speaking of journeys, Gayle doesn't just focus on those technical skills.
Mm-hmm.
She also talks about the importance of personal growth and career development.
Yeah, making a plan for your career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She encourages people to think about their long-term goals and to actively shape their career paths.
But sometimes it feels like there are just so many options.
I know.
How do you even begin to narrow it down?
Well, Gayle, she recommends talking to people, exploring different roles, even trying out different projects or teams within your company.
So it's all about experimenting.
It is. It's about learning and figuring out what truly excites you.
Okay.
And once you have a clearer sense of direction, she says, take initiative. Seek out challenges.
Don't wait for them to come to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Volunteer for new projects, take on leadership roles, step outside your comfort zone.
But what if you're like a little bit shy or introverted?
Yeah,
It can be hard to put yourself out there.
I get it. But Gayle, she reminds us that self-promotion is essential for growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about bragging. It's about communicating your value.
Okay. So how do you do that without feeling like you're boasting?
Well, she suggests keeping a log of your accomplishments,
Okay.
documenting your contributions, and highlighting the impact you've made.
So when performance review time rolls around,
You're ready.
you've got the receipts.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And she also encourages people to share their knowledge with others.
Okay.
You know, present at team meetings, contribute to blog posts, attend industry events.
So it's about becoming a thought leader.
Yeah, sharing your passion and helping others learn and grow.
I like that. And by putting yourself out there, you're also expanding your network.
Exactly. Creating new opportunities for collaboration.
So it's like a positive feedback loop.
It is. You share your knowledge,
Yeah.
you connect with others, you create new opportunities, and you continue to learn and grow.
And that's what Gayle's book is all about, right?
It is. It's not just about landing a job. It's about thriving in the tech world.
Continuously learning and growing and shaping your own career.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Google resume, what are some of the key takeaways for you?
Well, for me, it's Gayle's emphasis on mindset. You know, approaching challenges with curiosity and a willingness to learn, embracing collaboration and communication, and actively shaping your career path.
That's it. You got it. It's
Yeah.
about taking ownership of your journey and realizing that even in this crazy tech world, you have the power to create your own success.
Yes, absolutely. And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you enjoyed exploring the Google resume with us.
And that you gained some valuable insights for navigating this exciting world of tech.
Remember, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro,
There's always something new to learn
a new challenge to embrace.
and a new opportunity to create.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing yourself to reach your full potential.
Until next time.
See you then.